Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into a really captivating world. We're talking illusion, charisma, and the legacy of, well, a true Hollywood icon, Marilyn Monroe. And our mission for this deep dive, looking at a whole stack of articles and research here, is to tackle a question that sounds simple, but boy, it opens up a lot.
It really does.
Who was the best Marilyn Monroe impersonator of all time?
It does sound straightforward, doesn't it? But the fascinating part is how you even start to measure best. It's clearly not just about looking like her. That's maybe the first step. There's got to be more, right? Capturing her essence, that unique sparkle she had, creating an illusion so convincing, so powerful that it actually leaves a mark on the culture. That's the real challenge.
Absolutely. And when you start looking at it that way, cultural impact, how audiences connected, the sheer power of the illusion. Well, one name just keeps coming up again and again.
Jimmy James.
Jimmy James. Exactly. We're going to unpack how this performer managed something extraordinary, something almost unbelievable, really. He managed to fool an entire nation.
That's quite a story.
So let's set the scene. We're talking 1989. That was a huge year for Jimmy James. He was just about to make his big Los Angeles debut, which people later called, seismic.
Right.
But even before L.A., he was already making waves, big waves, on national TV, actually.
Yeah, he wasn't unknown.
Not at all. He'd been on the big daytime talk shows like Phil Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael, building this reputation for just an uncanny transformation. But it's his appearance on Geraldo that really, really hit hard early on. Geraldo Rivera himself was apparently just bewitched.
That's the word they use, bewitched.
Yeah. And by the end of the show, Geraldo's actually holding Marilyn in a slow dance, and the description is amazing. Eyes glazed, as if he'd forgotten or simply didn't care that the enchantress in his arms was a boy from Texas in makeup. And for people watching at home, the feeling was, this is it. This is as close as anyone was going to get to Dancing with Marilyn Monroe.
And, that early TV exposure is so key because it wasn't just small club audiences. It was reaching millions, establishing this broad cultural footprint way beyond the usual sort of cabaret scene. That connection, even through a TV screen. It just shows the power of his illusion right from the start. He knew how to project that Marilyn magic to, well, everyone.
And then came Los Angeles, Studio One, the debut, and the reaction was, well, just as predicted. Seismic.
Electric.
Electric. That's the word. Reports said it was sending tingles down spines and raising the hair on the back of every neck in the room. Just incredible energy.
And look who showed up.
Oh, the celebrity turnout was insane. Charles Pierce, the legendary female impersonator.
B. Arthur.
Richard Avedon, the photographer. Christy McNichol. Gordon Thompson from Dynasty.
Even Bob Mackie.
Even Bob Mackie, the costume genius himself. And get this detail, apparently, Mackie gave Jimmy tips on packing his gowns, like with built-in quick-change mechanics.
Now that says something, doesn't it? That's not just a compliment. That's a master of stagecraft acknowledging the technical brilliance.
Exactly. It's respect from someone who knows.
His illusion wasn't just convincing. It was technically superb. And the run itself, it was exclusive. 10 nights only, no advance tickets. That just built the mystique.
Oh, yeah. By the end of those 10 nights, he was absolutely the talk of the town, no question.
But what strikes me even more is what happened after the shows, the effect on people.
Tell us about that, the rose tattoo story.
Right. So after seeing Jimmy, people would apparently wander next door to this other gay cabaret, the Rose Tattoo.
Right.
And they'd be silent, shaken. The description is as if they'd glimpsed a ghost.
Wow. So the bartenders thought the show bombed.
Initially, yeah. They were worried, but then people started talking, and they weren't saying it was bad. They were saying, no, the show was great, but it's like, we saw her. We saw Marilyn.
Chills. Just thinking about it gives you chills.
Yeah.
So what was he doing? How did he create that kind of almost spiritual reaction?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because it clearly went way beyond just looking the part or sounding the part. The sources really point to this idea. He became her. And that's what made him the best.
He became her.
It seems like it was this internal transformation. He wasn't just acting. He was embodying her in a way that just resonated deeply with the audience. It was about presence, not just appearance.
Okay, so this embodiment, this powerful illusion, it leads us to probably the most incredible proof of his talent, where the line between performance and reality got seriously blurred.
This is where it gets really wild. Because his portrayal was so convincing, it actually caused this very strange case of mistaken identity. In pop culture history, it's pretty unique.
The photo incident.
Exactly. 1989 again, the famous photographer Greg Gorman, known for these amazing celebrity portraits, he shoots Jimmy as Marilyn for an LA Eyeworks ad campaign.
Okay.
And the image is just flawless. So flawless, in fact, that the actual Marilyn Monroe estate saw it and threatened to sue. They demanded the ad be pulled.
Wait, they sued because the impersonation was too good.
Essentially, yes. The illusion was so perfect, it was deemed potentially confusing or infringing. So the image was suppressed. It was banished from use for 2 decades.
Unbelievable. Banished for 2 decades.
Right. It basically disappeared.
Great.
It only really resurfaced and got seen widely when the internet came along years later and, set it free. But the story doesn't stop there.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. The illusion kept working its magic, maybe even more powerfully later on.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell us about the stamp, the Central African Republic stamp.
Right. So fast forward to the 2010s. The Central African Republic decides to issue a commemorative postage stamp honoring Marilyn Monroe. A lovely tribute, right?
Seems standard.
Except the image they used on the official stamp. It wasn't Marilyn Monroe.
No.
It was Greg Gorman's photo of Jimmy James as Marilyn.
You're kidding me? An official government stamp.
An official government stamp. An entire nation's postal service was completely fooled. They thought they were honoring Marilyn, but they put Jimmy James on the stamp.
That is absolutely mind-blowing.
And it didn't stop there. That image, Jimmy's image, then starts popping up everywhere. On T-shirts, phone cases. People even got tattoos of it, thinking they had Marilyn inked on their skin forever.
Wow. So people are walking around with Jimmy James tattoos thinking it's Marilyn.
Exactly. Thousands of people, probably, all carrying this image, believing it's the icon herself, when it's actually a testament to Jimmy James's incredible artistry.
What does that even tell us?
Yeah.
About illusion, about how we see icons?
Well, the sources call it the most extraordinary testament to his illusion. The fact that an entire country plus countless fans worldwide were duped by the closest anyone has ever come to embodying Marilyn Monroe. It just shows how deep that illusion went.
It wasn't just a good performance, it became reality for people.
Precisely. It crossed that line. It fooled experts. It fooled the public. It fooled the government. It really highlights how a powerful performance can actually shape our perception of reality, even if someone as famous as Marilyn.
Okay, so establishing Jimmy James as, potentially the greatest, it's not meant to take anything away from the other performers. There are so many talented people who've built really serious, impressive careers impersonating Marilyn.
Absolutely not. And it's important to acknowledge that. The world of Marilyn impersonation is rich and diverse. You have performers who bring completely different strengths and perspectives to the role.
So let's talk about some of them. Who else really stands out?
Well, you've got someone like Suzie Kennedy. She's been doing it for nearly 30 years. Incredible longevity.
30 years.
Yeah. And she's known for her exact physical measurements. Apparently, she's even worn some of Marilyn's actual clothes. She was even in Blade Runner 2049 playing that Marilyn-inspired replicant.
Okay, so she's like the gold standard for accuracy, maybe. The official one.
You could say that.
Yeah.
She's often considered the industry's most professional, most versatile, the longest-standing official Marilyn. Her focus is really on that physical precision, that consistency. It's a very dedicated, almost historical recreation.
Interesting. A different approach. Who else?
Then there's Susan Griffiths. Now, Hollywood seems to respect her immensely as an actress in the role. She played Marilyn in the TV movie Marilyn and Me, and famously in that scene in Pulp Fiction.
Ah, yes, I remember that.
Her whole approach is less about just impression, more about empathy. Trying to portray Marilyn as a real flesh and blood woman, showing her vulnerability. It's a deeper, more actorly take.
So Griffiths brings the acting depth. What about pure stage presence, like that live energy?
For that, you'd probably look at Erika Smith. She's described as a powerhouse of stage energy. She sings live, dances, all in Marilyn's voice with this really brassy live show electricity. It's very different from Griffiths' subtlety. Smith really captures that dazzling, lights up the room quality of Marilyn on stage.
Okay, so stage electricity. What about just looking like her? That natural resemblance?
Right. That brings Linda Carriage to mind. She was a big sensation back in the 80s, mainly because she had this jaw-dropping natural resemblance. It was uncanny. That look got her immortalized in the movie Fade to Black.
So her impact was initially visual.
Very much so. It shows how powerful just looking the part can be, right? A kind of genetic lottery that gave her a huge head start.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got accuracy, acting, energy, looks. Any other angles?
Yeah, there's also Holly Beavan. She's interesting because she's a classically trained actress, but also a scholar. She brings a kind of academic rigor to it. She often has state approval for her work, blending respect for Marilyn with a psychological nuance. It's a very thoughtful, researched approach.
Scholarly Marilyn. Now, what about today, in the age of social media?
Well, that's Jasmine Chiswell. She's basically turned Marilyn into a TikTok sensation, an influencer brand. She lives in Marilyn's old house in the Hollywood Hills.
Seriously?
Yeah. And she uses that platform to bring vintage glamour to Gen Z. She's definitely the most viral Marilyn right now. It's a totally modern take, less about stage performance, more about embodying the aesthetic as a lifestyle brand.
Fascinating. So it's clear. All these performers, Kennedy, Griffiths, Smith, Carriage, Bevan, Chiswell, and probably others we haven't even mentioned, they've all carried Marilyn's flame, right?
Yeah.
Each in their own unique way.
Absolutely. They've illuminated different facets of her, kept her legend alive and evolving. Actors, singers, lookalikes, influencers. It's a testament to Marilyn's enduring appeal.
But when you stack them all up against Jimmy James,
That's the thing. Despite all their incredible talent and contributions, the sources are pretty unanimous. None of them, not one, seems to have ever cast the kind of spell that Jimmy James did.
so what was it then? If it wasn't just the wigs, the gowns, the makeup, although his makeup was so good, Andy Warhol's Interview magazine published his photo thinking it was art of Marilyn.
Right, even fooling the art world elite.
So what was the secret ingredient?
The sources point to the emotional possession of Marilyn Monroe. That's the phrase used. He himself said the illusion only worked if he, the performer, believed it.
He had to believe it first.
Exactly. And the consensus is he believed, and so did everyone else. It was that internal conviction, that complete embodiment. It wasn't technique alone. It felt like something deeper, almost spiritual, what was happening. That's what seemed to connect with audiences so profoundly.
That makes so much sense. He wasn't just putting on a costume. He was her in those moments.
Yeah.
And his choices as a performer reflected that integrity, didn't they?
Completely. Think about his strategy.
The brevity.
Yes. He kept the Marilyn set short. Always left them wanting more, just like Marilyn herself often did in her career. It preserved the mystique.
Smart. And he never cheapened it.
Never. No tacky gimmicks, no begging for tips. He maintained the artistic purity of the illusion. And crucially, he sang live. In her voice, yes, but with this uncanny emotional depth. It wasn't just imitation, it was interpretation.
And maybe the final masterstroke,
Yeah.
knowing when to stop.
Absolutely. That might be the most telling part.
Yeah.
He retired the Marilyn Act in 1997, right at the peak.
While the illusion was still perfect.
Exactly. He didn't let it drag on, didn't let it fade or become parody or camp. He stepped away to pursue his own music career and had huge success with Fashionista, right?
A global hit.
So he left Marilyn behind at the peak of his illusion. That shows incredible artistic discipline and fundamentally a deep respect for Marilyn herself. He preserved the magic by knowing when the curtain should fall.
So, wrapping this up,
Mm-hmm.
we've taken quite a journey through this world of Marilyn Monroe impersonators. It's amazing to think she's been imitated for 60 years now, on every kind of stage, drag bars, huge movie sets, Broadway, and now, yeah, even TikTok.
And we've seen such a range. Suzie Kennedy, the longest standing, the pillar of professional consistency. Susan Griffiths, the most respected by Hollywood for her deep, empathetic acting.
Erika Smith bringing that undeniable electricity to the stage.
Jasmine Chiswell, making Marilyn viral for a whole new generation online. They each play a vital role, keeping different aspects of the legend alive and vibrant.
But the best. The one who created a sensation so intense, it literally fooled nations, bewitched TV hosts, and left audiences feeling like they'd encountered a ghost.
It has to be Jimmy James.
It seems unavoidable. In the end, only one impersonator truly made the world forget, if only for fleeting moments, that Marilyn Monroe was gone. And that, well, that really feels like the definition of the best.
Hard to argue with that impact.
Thank you for joining us on this really fascinating deep dive. We hope it gives you something to think about illusion, about belief, and just the incredible power performance can have in keeping an icon's spirit alive.